Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
You laughed, but the game is over.
At my wife Dana's company dinner, I was nursing a whiskey feeling invisible among all these corporate sharks in the Hilton ballroom. Everyone was dressed to impress, especially Dana in her emerald green dress. She was in her element, laughing with colleagues while I felt like a fish out of water. Her coworker Travis Miller, this smug guy with too much hair gel, decided to make me his entertainment for the night. He was holding his champagne high, swaying from whatever he'd been drinking. "Come on over here, buddy," he called. I forced a smile and walked over to where he was standing with CEO Arthur Granger and other executives. "What's it like being married to our rising star here?" Travis said, gesturing at Dana. "Must be nice having a sugar mama, huh?" People chuckled, but I kept my expression neutral. This wasn't the first time Travis had taken shots at me. "I mean, seriously, though," Travis pressed on, clearly enjoying his audience. "What do you even do all day while Dana's crushing it? Play video games? Watch Netflix?" More laughter rippled through the group. I felt Dana's grip tighten on my arm, but when I glanced at her, she wasn't looking at me with concern. She was smiling that same practiced smile, like this was all harmless fun. Then came the eliminate shot. "What's it like being a loser? Must be strange having your wife pay all the bills, right?" The entire table went quiet for a heartbeat, then erupted in laughter. Even people from neighboring tables turned to see what was so funny. And there, right next to me, was Dana, laughing along with the rest of them. Not uncomfortably, but genuinely amused by her colleague's assessment of her husband. Something cold settled in my chest. After 15 years of marriage, she was laughing at me being called a loser in front of people who barely knew me, who had no idea what I'd built before stepping back from the spotlight. I stood there, letting the laughter wash over me, feeling smaller with each passing second. Then something shifted inside me. Maybe it was the whiskey, maybe years of biting my tongue, or maybe I was just tired of being treated like Dana's accessory instead of her equal. I smiled. Not the forced smile I'd been wearing all evening, but a genuine one that probably looked scary given the circumstances. The laughter started dying as people noticed my expression. "You know what, Travis? You're absolutely right. It must seem pretty strange from where you're sitting." I turned to Arthur Granger, who was looking increasingly uncomfortable. "Arthur, how does it feel to know that this loser owns 90% of your company?" Complete silence. "You could have heard a pin drop in that massive ballroom." Arthur's face went white as a sheet, his champagne glass frozen halfway to his lips. Dana's arm fell away from mine as she stared at me with her mouth open. Travis looked like someone had just told him Santa wasn't real. "What?" Dana whispered, barely audible. Did I stutter? Orion Systems. Remember that little tech startup that merged with Nexra 5 years ago? The one that basically saved this company from bankruptcy? Yeah, that was mine. Still is, actually. Dana's wine glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor, red wine spreading across the white tablecloth like crimson. Suddenly, everyone was talking at once. Whispered conversations, urgent questions, scraping chairs. I straightened my tie, took one last look at my wife's stunned face, and walked away. As I headed toward the exit, I could hear chaos erupting behind me. Arthur's panicked voice, Dana calling my name, Travis demanding to know if what I'd said was true. The game had changed. After years of playing the quiet husband who stayed in the background, I'd finally reminded them all. You should never underestimate the person you're laughing at. Dana chased me out, her heels clicking frantically on marble as she demanded explanations in the hotel lobby. "What the hell do you mean you own the company?" she demanded, grabbing my arm. When I finally faced her, she looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her makeup was smudging, that emerald dress wrinkled from her sprint across the hotel. "You really don't know, do you?" I asked. "You honestly have no clue who you married. Explain to me how you can possibly own 90% of Nexra when you've been unemployed for the past 3 years." Unemployed. The word hit me like a punch to the gut. That's what you think I've been doing? Sitting around unemployed? Well, what else would you call it? She shot back. You haven't had a real job since you sold that little software company. That little software company, I interrupted, was Orion Systems. And I didn't just sell it, Dana. I merged it with a failing tech firm called Nexra Corporation. The color drained from her face as pieces started clicking together. I could see the gears turning as she remembered conversations from years ago. Orion Systems was worth hundreds of millions, I continued. Present tense, Dana, because I never sold my shares. I just stepped back from day-to-day operations while I focused on other things. Other things like what? Like being your husband. Like cooking dinner every night while you worked late. Like supporting your career while everyone assumed I was some kind of deadbeat. Why didn't you ever say anything? She asked finally. Because I wanted you to love me for who I am, not what I own. I wanted to know that if I lost everything tomorrow, you'd still want to be married to me. But the moment people thought I had nothing, they treated me like I was nothing. Including you. The truth hung between us like smoke. She'd laughed when Travis called me a loser, when he mocked me for being supported by my wife. The next morning, I contacted my lawyer, Marcus. Time to remind Nexra exactly who'd been signing their paychecks. I requested a full audit of executive compensation and called an emergency board meeting. The corporate rumor mill worked fast. By 10 a.m., Travis was suspended for steering contracts to his cousin's construction company. By afternoon, multiple executives were suspended for expense account misuse. Arthur was panicking about what other skeletons might tumble out. Dana texted frantically. Travis got fired. People are freaking out about some audit. What the hell is happening? I texted back. Sounds like a typical Tuesday at the office. But it wasn't nothing. The machine I'd set in motion was just getting started, and Dana was caught in the middle without realizing her husband was dismantling the toxic culture that had allowed people like Travis to flourish. Thursday's board meeting was the most satisfying experience of my professional life. I walked into that boardroom as Jordan Rivers, majority shareholder, for the first time in 15 years. Arthur was pacing like a caged animal when he saw me. I'd like you to meet Jordan Rivers, Arthur announced reluctantly. The silence was beautiful. You could see mental gymnastics happening as they tried to place the name. Then, recognition dawned. Jordan Rivers? As in the Orion Systems Jordan Rivers? Asked Patricia Hensley. The very same, I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. I spread financial documents across the table like a dealer laying out cards. Executive compensation reports, expense accounts, evidence of Travis's nepotistic dealings, painting a picture of a company that had lost its way. This is what I've been paying for, I said calmly. Executives using corporate credit cards for family vacations, hiring practices favoring friends over qualified candidates, and a company culture that thinks it's acceptable to mock people without consequences. Arthur was sweating openly. Jordan, if there have been irregularities, I'm sure we can address them through proper channels. The proper channel is me taking control of the company I've owned all along, I interrupted. Effective immediately, I'm exercising my right as majority shareholder to assume direct oversight. Arthur, your resignation will be accepted immediately. The room erupted, but I continued. Travis Miller's termination stands, but there are other changes as well, starting with complete overhaul of our executive team. The board vote took 17 minutes. Arthur's resignation passed unanimously. Travis's termination passed unanimously. But the real bombshell was my choice for Arthur's replacement, Margaret Wu from engineering. The board looked shocked. She's never held an executive position, protested Robert Chen. She's never held one because this company promotes people based on who they play golf with instead of who gets results, I replied. Margaret arrived looking stunned, still in her work clothes. When I explained she was about to become CEO, her eyes lit up with fire. I hadn't seen in corporate leadership for years. I want you to run this place with respect, I told her. Respect for employees, clients, and the fact that this company exists to solve problems, not line pockets. The following weeks felt like watching a phoenix rise from ashes. Margaret implemented open-door policies and reviewed every contract thoroughly. The toxic culture started evaporating. Employee morale improved incredibly fast. People were collaborating instead of competing, sharing ideas instead of hoarding information. The cafeteria filled with conversation and laughter. Travis's lawsuit fizzled when faced with evidence of his schemes. He settled quietly and disappeared. Meanwhile, Donna took leave of absence, saying she needed time to process everything. I established the Jordan Rivers Foundation for Engineering Education, providing scholarships for underprivileged kids pursuing technology careers. For years, I'd been writing anonymous charity checks. Now I was putting my name behind something meaningful. 3 months later, I found myself back in the same Hilton ballroom where this journey started, but everything was different. Margaret's corporate awards night felt like stepping into an alternate universe where respect actually meant something. "Please welcome Jordan Rivers," Margaret announced, "the man who believed in Nexra before anyone else did." The applause was genuine, completely different from mocking laughter that had echoed here months ago. I walked to the front, passing tables of employees who actually knew who I was now. Dana sat quietly in the third row, wearing simple black instead of her usual power suit. We were still married technically, but everything had fundamentally shifted. She'd started therapy, began volunteering at the foundation, slowly learning to see me as something other than an accessory. 3 months ago, some of you learned something surprising about the man standing here tonight, I said into the microphone. But the real surprise isn't that I owned this company all along. The real surprise is what we've built together since then. Under Margaret's leadership, Nexra had remembered what it meant to actually solve problems. We'd created an environment where good ideas mattered more than connections, where hard work got recognized. The foundation had funded its first class of scholarship recipients, 15 bright kids already showing incredible promise. The mentorship program paired employees with underprivileged students, creating bridges between dreams and opportunities. As I looked around that ballroom, I realized the sweetest revenge had never been about punishment. It was about building something better than what came before. It was about showing people that power, used with purpose, could transform everything it touched. The laughter had finally stopped, replaced by something infinitely more valuable, a legacy worth leaving behind. Sometimes the quiet person everyone underestimates is actually the one holding all the power.